full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Maybe you've had your eye on a Fulton home. The premium craftsmanship, thoughtfully designed floor plans, resort-style amenities, and award-winning communities across the valley. A place where every detail feels intentional. For many buyers, homeownership can feel out of reach. But now, owning a Fulton home is more attainable than ever. With special pricing, limited time incentives, and interest rate buydowns on select homes, now is the right moment to make your move. From beautifully designed interiors to the legendary quality Fulton Homes is known for, every detail is built to stand the test of time. Visit any Fulton Homes community today or go to fultonhomes.com. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger, in my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month, and I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
For nearly 25 years, Primavera has helped thousands of Arizona students succeed with an accredited world-class education, tuition-free and from home. Don't wait. Enroll today at chooseprimavera.com. That's chooseprimavera.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
February 16th, 2026. It is the Monday edition of the lunch break right here. KDUS AM 1060. Streaming on the free KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can watch the show over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Chris Schubert, producer Evan, hanging out with you here today on a Monday after the NBA All-Star Weekend. The Suns back in action on Thursday. Spring training in full swing. We move closer and closer to the NFL free agency. Producer Evan, how was your weekend, buddy? You had a good weekend?
Weekend was good. I told you about my blunder.
Yeah, you had an all. Now listen, if we're gonna rate blunders that you could have had on Valentine's Day,
could have been worse.
You could have screwed up much larger than you did. All you did was leave the leftovers. That's all you did, and that happens.
Left the leftovers. In grand scheme of things, minor blunder.
You had the reservation.
Yep.
You had a good place.
Food was great.
Food was great. You got down there. You were able to leave there. You had it all planned out.
No problem. Everything else, seamless.
You just happened to leave the leftovers after asked not to leave the leftovers.
Yes.
So again, on the scale of things you could screw up on Valentine's Day weekend, I think it's pretty low, but all in all, a good weekend for you.
All in all, good weekend yesterday, Sunday, just a nice relaxing day. Watching some Olympic hockey. That was the only thing. I did not watch the All-Star.
And some Olympic curling, because there's some controversies going on in the world of curling. I anticipate getting into the leftovers by the time we get out of here today. I figured when I saw it over the weekend, I said that we're going to spend all of the leftovers in hour number 2 talking about that. But all right, let's jump right into it. Our top story here today on the program, the Daily Special. He's back.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
A one-year deal worth basically the qualifying offer with a bunch of deferred money in it. Zac Gallen is back as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't want to say he never left because he was a free agent for a little bit there, but didn't sign with another team, decided to re-up on a one-year deal with the Diamondbacks and basically got told by the market, we don't think you're worth the draft pick that we would need to give up in order to sign you. We don't want to go long-term. We have some concerns. Short-term, it's not worth it to give up the draft pick. And so that led to a reunion between the Diamondbacks and Zac Gallen for 1 year. And the gang's all back together. Corbin Burnes is going to return at some point this year. Merrill Kelly's back on a 2-year deal. Zac Gallen's in this rotation. Ryan Nelson, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Pfaadt. It's the same group that we had in 2025, the Diamondbacks will have in 2026. And I think it's fair to view this starting rotation as the strength of this team. The lineup has its fair share of concerns. We've gone through those. I think we will continue to go through those as spring unfolds, as we get into the regular season. You don't need me to start a Monday. You don't need me to start a week of this program ranting about the worries we have about the bullpen. The strength of this Diamondbacks team is in their starting pitching. Their season is going to be successful or be a failure on the backs of those 5 starters. It's going to be on the backs of Zac Gallen. It's going to be on the backs of Merrill Kelly, of Ryan Nelson, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Pfaadt. When he gets back, Corbin Burnes. It is going to be on those 5, those 6 gentlemen, those 6 individuals, the success or failure of the season. Because if you have great starting pitching, boy, does it cover up for a lot of your faults. Boy, if you have starters that can go deep into the game and get you 18 plus outs and throw up zeros and keep you in ball games, that's going to allow you to cover up for other blemishes like, oh, I don't know, the fact that you really only have 4 good hitters in your lineup. That could cover up for the fact that you really don't want to be asking your bullpen to get you 9 outs every single night, at least as it's currently constructed. That's what bringing back Zac Gallen does, and it's a huge bet on Gallen's part, right? He gets to come back to a place where he's super comfortable, a place where he's had a bunch of success, a place where recently had success in the second half of 2026, and it is a bet on himself, and he is going to be extra motivated, and that's good for the Diamondbacks. They're going to get an extra motivated Zac Gallen because he's going to get to hit free agency at the end of 2026 without that qualifying offer attached. Diamondbacks can't do that again. So he's going to hit free agency completely free of that draft pick cloud hovering over him. Now, it's a bet for Zac Gallen because who knows if we're going to play baseball in 2027. But his bet is that whether it's in 2027 or 2028 or somewhere in between, that if he has another good year, if he can pitch the way he pitched post-trade deadline last year for an entire season, at 30 years old right now, he'll be 31 next offseason, that he will be in line for that big payday because he will have another year of success. He'll have a track record that has grown and has more good than bad, and he'll be able to cash in on that 4 or 5-year deal worth a lot of money. You just saw Merrill Kelly get 2 years, $40 million from the Diamondbacks at 37 years of age. So if Zac Gallen can have another great year, if he can have a good year in the way that he had a good second half last year, he's going to set himself up to cash in for that payday because it's another good year. He's free of that draft pick compensation. There are going to be teams that are looking for starters, always are. It sets up as the perfect storm. And in the meantime, the Diamondbacks bring back somebody that they're comfortable with. They bring back somebody that raises the floor of their rotation. There's no question marks about what he is and what he isn't. They know him very intimately. He's got a different locker in spring because Nolan Arenado's got his locker in spring. So there's a little awkwardness there that I think they'll be able to work through. I saw a clip going around on social media of him joking around with Brandon Pfaadt already back in camp. It's good to see Zac Gallen back. And I think it's good for this Diamondbacks team to have another floor raiser in this rotation. This always made sense from both sides. The longer this went and the less likely it seemed that Zac Gallen was going to get that long-term deal because you're willing to give up the draft pick if you're a team, if you're getting Zac Gallen for 5 years. If you're getting the long-term benefit of a player like Zac Gallen, you're willing to give up the draft pick. If you're trying to get him on a 1-year, a 2-year deal, the draft pick's not worth it. And that's what put Gallen in this conundrum. He wasn't getting the long-term offers that he wanted, and nobody really outside of the Diamondbacks was probably super inclined to go short-term. Now, there were some reports out there that he turned down some multi-year deals elsewhere. And again, he decided to bet on himself, come back home where his family lives, where he lives, and build his value up for a year. How do you not start the week off with this news? How do you not start the week off with this being a positive for this Diamondbacks team? Zac Gallen will be back in the rotation for 2026.
And I think had one of these teams come out with a multi-year deal that he had, felt like he had to accept for an organization that's probably in win now mode, it changes the conversation. But if it was an organization that offered him, a similar AAV to the 1-year deal, to what the qualifying offer would be, or let's face it, a team that's just not on the verge of winning, why not come back and see what you can do to get, a 2 or 3 year deal next time around?
I don't know this for a fact, but I will say this. When you use the term multi-year, I just assume that was a 2-year deal somewhere.
Yeah, that's what immediately comes to mind.
And if it's a 2-year deal, yeah, you lock in a little short-term gain, but you kind of limit your long-term ability. Whereas maybe a 2-year deal in, Chicago with the White Sox, or a 2-year deal in another place where you're unfamiliar. It's a new place. Maybe there's not a huge upside of winning potential. So you're like, you know what? I'll take the 1-year deal. I don't have to move. I'm with all my teammates. This is a place I've had success, and I can reset. I can reevaluate next offseason. It just buys himself some time, and he frees himself of that draft pick compensation that's hovering over him. And again, it now gives you at the front of this rotation the 2 guys that you feel can bridge the gap to Corbin Burns returning in the middle of the season. Merrill Kelly and Zac Gallen give you a 1-2 punch. And just think of the trickle-down effect of this, right? This moves Mike Soroka into that long relief role, or he gets utilized as a bullpen arm, right? You're seeing some teams do this where they get these relievers and they use them as multi-inning guys, and they're not available every day, but they're basically available every other day in the multi-inning role. Now, all of a sudden, if you're Torey Lovello, you're free to explore that possibility here in spring. You're able to see, hey, can Mike Soroka be this multi-inning, Swiss Army knife reliever where I can ask him to get me 6 outs every night, or every night that I use him, I can ask him for 6 outs. That lessens the burden on everybody else. This also, for me personally, puts Ryan Nelson in a more, I think, comfortable spot for what I think his upside is. I don't think Ryan Nelson is a frontline starter when he's basically as fastball dependent as he is. He doesn't have enough secondary offerings, I think, to be a true frontline ace. But as your number 3, I think he's a perfectly fine number 3 starter. And now having Merrill Kelly and Zac Gallen allows Ryan Nelson to be your number 3. When Corbin Burns is back, he gets pushed to probably being the number 4. And that feels more appropriate. That feels more like a true evaluation of what Ryan Nelson is as a pitcher right now.
Yeah, and I think if you do move him to the 4, right, and Eduardo Rodriguez is having the big year, now we're talking about moving around saying, hey, can we make that trip back to the bullpen?
Well,
I know that's a conversation if you've been a starter for so long. Could you make that move back? But
see, I would make the argument that if you're bringing Corbin Burns back off of Tommy John surgery,
you move Eduardo Rodriguez back to the bullpen.
No, I would make the case that you just go to a 6-man rotation. You give Corbin Burns that extra day. Now, yes, you want Corbin Burns pitching as much as
just coming off Tommy
John surgery. Let's be really careful here. Now, we'll see how the season plays out. If all 5 of these guys are pitching great, then I think it's easy. You slot in Corbin Burns, we're going to a 6-man rotation. If one of these guys is struggling, if you're having to kind of piecemeal it together, then maybe a transition to the bullpen. We got to let the season play out and see where this rotation is at when Corbin Burns is healthy and ready. It's all hypothetical right now. We don't know. Eduardo Rodriguez could struggle. Ryan Nelson could struggle. Brendan Pfaadt maybe doesn't find it and struggles the way that he did last year. And so it's easy to move one of them into a relief role and go back to a 5-man rotation. But if all 5 are humming along and this rotation is the strength that we think it is, then yeah, you slot Corbin Burns right in there and you make it a 6-man rotation and you let it go. You see where it takes you. That's the benefit of bringing somebody like a Zac Gallen back. And yes, I know that Zac Gallen's first half was much to be desired. But the second half was really good. Basically on his own, with no Corbin Burns, with no Merrill Kelly after you traded him. Zac Gallen, basically on his own, was the ace of this staff and led them to a point where they were relevant in September.
Yeah, you have to remember that second half last year, he was a frontline ace.
Oh,
and he's had flashes of that through his career. If you can get that second half, you're talking about a rotation that, let's face it, the top 3, let's go play anybody in baseball.
I'd have to look. but I feel pretty comfortable in saying that from the trade deadline on, Zac Gallen was a top 10 pitcher in all of baseball. I mean, I don't have all of the numbers in front of me. I'd have to look at.
Yeah, I would have to compare him to everybody else. But let's just go from his numbers, and I'll pull them up. So, we'll just take a game log here.
Well, I mean, he was great from July on.
Yeah, so in July, which was his bad month, really bad month, he posted a 5.1 ERA in July, and really, it's blown up there because he had the 2 earned run starts at the Angels and then versus Houston. But you get into August where he posted a 2.57, and then you get into September where he posted a 4.2, which feels way higher.
From August 2nd, which was his first start post the trade deadline, through the end of the season, he pitched to a 3.32 ERA. He was 6-3.
Yeah, and it felt lower.
He was great.
3.32 is shockingly high, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
from what it felt like.
He was the guy. He was the guy and the pitcher that this team needed him to be to keep themselves relevant.
If you could get, let's say, in 2024 he posted a 3.65. He only pitched 148 innings because of the injury. You can get a 3.65. You feel pretty good about this.
I'm trying to look real quick to see who
in
was.
23, he posted the 3.47, and then I think 2022. I don't know if you're going to get a 2.54 again.
No, I don't know if you're going to have that pitcher, but
a mid-3 ERA.
He had the 20th best ERA from August 1st through the end of the regular season.
You went out and you got a top 20 pitcher.
If you have the guy that he was.
How many pitchers, honestly, would you take? You think he's a top 50 pitcher in baseball?
When everything's going?
When everything's going, certainly.
Yeah, I think when everything's going, he's probably a top 25, top 30 pitcher in the sport. I think, the ups and downs, he's probably still a top 50 pitcher, top 75 pitcher. I mean, he's really good. I mean, think about it. Everyone's got 5 starters. 5 times 30 is 150.
Yeah.
A top 75 pitcher means he's better than half the starters. I think that's.
Yeah, I think 75 is being generous.
Yeah, but
being harsh on him.
Yeah, I think Zac Gallen, again, is a floor raiser at worst.
Yeah, and I think he posted a 4.83 last year. I mean, May, June, July, he was unusable.
It was bad.
And that's what I mean. As bad as he felt, he posted a 4.83.
Right. And in that second half, or really post-trade deadline, he was a sub 3.5 ERA pitcher, which you'll take. I mean, if you get that over the course of a full season.
If you get that over the course of 162, you're going to take that.
You're feeling great. That is what the Diamondbacks brought back. It made sense for both sides. And for the Diamondbacks, it puts them in a very interesting spot that I want to talk about a little bit later on in this program, because they told us they weren't going to spend a ton of money this offseason. They are going to have a larger payroll this year than they did last year. And I think that's very fascinating. And I want to have a conversation with that as the show moves on here today. 480-864-1060. That is the phone number for you to get involved with us here today on the program. You can also chat away with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. When we come back, is a Kyler Murray trade better than nothing? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your desert destination for sports here in the Valley.
Not surprised that the Cardinals aren't in. They fired their head coach. Kyler Murray's probably on his way out. It is what they like to call Black Monday. I'm kind of surprised by the Raheem Morris one in Atlanta. It's only been how long? Year? 2 years. So maybe that one. Pete Carroll gone. I told you from the jump when they hired Pete Carroll, I didn't like the hire. I think he's past his due. Let him go after year one. You might as well have kept the guy you had before and saved a bunch of money.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060. Life can change in an instant. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can feel overwhelming. The pain, the stress, and the uncertainty of what comes next. You don't have to go through it alone. The attorneys at Sweet James understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact an accident can have. They're here to help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to under the law. When you call Sweet James, you're connecting with a team of attorneys experienced in handling serious injury cases. Their work is driven by preparation, advocacy, and a genuine commitment to helping clients seek accountability and justice. Every case is different, and outcomes depend on the specific facts involved. If you've been injured in an accident, call the attorneys at Sweet James for your free case review. They handle everything for you so you can focus on healing. That's the Sweet James advantage. Help available 24/7. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Espanol. 800-9-million. 800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
Florence and the Machine presents the Everybody Scream Tour. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Saturday, May 9th. The incomparable Florence and the Machine returns. With special guest, Mannequin Pussy. On sale now at livenation.com. The new album, Everybody Scream, available now.
Everybody Scream.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Door Service. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty. That's right. Fix them once and you're covered for life. Don't risk your family's safety or your peace of mind. Let A1 replace your springs before they become a problem. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one.
A1 from day one.
Jerome here with your Rome Report. To quote Arnold Schwarzenegger from Total Recall, consider that a divorce. Well, except I'm not talking about he and Sharon Stone. I'm talking about the Phillies and Nick Castellanos. It was not a question of if, but a matter of when. You know it's bad when a solid player like that is untradeable and nobody wants him, and the team is willing to eat $20 million just to get him to go away. Then again, the guy pretty much did it to himself. Teams will put up with just about anything if you're producing, but he wasn't. And the one thing that no team is ever going to put up with is a player responding to being taken out of a game by cracking open a beer in the dugout and then lighting up the manager in front of the rest of the team. No way you come back from that. A beer in the dugout? What? Burning a blunt? Didn't want any of that? If you were trying to get yourself fired, Nick, it worked. Hope that was worth it, although I'm sure it wasn't. I'm Jim Rome. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
I'm not here to bury Mike Tomlin, but the fact is, this absolutely is the right move. He did the right thing, and he fired himself. All good things come to an end. Going a decade without winning a single playoff game is not meeting the standard.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
We keep moving closer to the start of the new league year. We are inside of a month until free agency legal tampering can occur. That's on March 9th. The league year is on March 11th. And the decision now that Mike LaFleur has been hired as the new head coach, that the finishing touches are being put onto this coaching staff, all eyes in the short term are focused on the Cardinals and their decision when it comes to Kyler Murray. What I love about this conversation is we know when the end date is. We know by March 16th, a month from today, this is going to be answered one way or another. This isn't going to linger. Right last year, this time, you knew that Kyler Murray was going to be on the roster for the beginning of the year. You knew that he was going to be the starter going into the 2025 season. You knew that you were a year away from a decision being made. We know that one way or another, Kyler Murray's either going to be the starting quarterback of this team or he's going to be someplace else. And we're going to know that answer by March 16th. I think we're going to know long before that. I think we're going to know by the end of this month. There is urgency on both the Cardinal side of things and on the side of whoever could be acquiring Kyler Murray. You saw what Miami did today. They cut Tyreek Hill outright. Why? Because bunch of cap that they saved by doing it. There's no sense in waiting. No one's going to trade for that contract. Let's take care of business. Let's be done here. Cut him, get our cap savings, move on with the rest of our offseason. Let's not have this lingering, this question that everyone knows what we're going to do, but we're not going to actually do it, and so it hovers over us. The Cardinals don't want that. They want March 9th to roll around with a clear plan. We're going after Malik Willis as our future quarterback. We're going after Daniel Jones as a bridge guy on a 2-year deal. We're going after Jimmy Garoppolo. We're going after insert quarterback name here. You got to know that by March 9th. You got to do the work well before March 9th. That's a month. That is less than a month from today. That is 3 weeks from today. I think you've got about 2 weeks to get a Kyler Murray deal done. 2.5. That's the runway that I think we have here. And so where I want to go today is I want to ask you a very pointed question. Is a Kyler Murray trade, no matter what the return is, better than cutting him outright? Is a Kyler Murray trade, no matter what the return is, better than keeping him on this roster for 2026? Now, the reason I ask this question is because over on ESPN today, Bill Barnwell wrote a story, trade proposals that fit for both teams. And it should not surprise you that Kyler Murray's name came up in this story. And Bill Barnwell had the Cardinals finding a suitor for Kyler Murray. They had the Cardinals trading Kyler Murray to the New York Jets. And they had a pick attached to Kyler Murray. They had the trade, Bill Barnwell did, Kyler Murray and a 2026 6th-round pick. What do you get back? Well, it's an early day 3 pick. It's a 2026 4th-round pick. So I'll ask the question again. Are you okay with a Kyler Murray trade no matter what the return is? Because that is basically no return. A pair of day 3 swaps for Kyler Murray. That's it. That's no 1st-round pick. That's no day 2 pick. That's no, late 2, early 3. That's not even a late 3. You're swapping a 6th for a 4th. You're trading Kyler Murray for the ability to move up from the 6th round to the 4th round. That's what you're getting, and the cap relief that comes with it. Are you okay with that to get out of the Kyler Murray business? Are you okay with basically getting 0 return if it means you're done with Kyler Murray? You're out of the Kyler Murray business? I would argue if you've made up your mind that you want to move on from him, trading him and maximizing the salary cap relief is worth more than what the trade return is. I wouldn't care what the trade return would be. I would care about finding a suitor, finding a team that would be willing to trade for him and to take on the contract. Because remember, a team that takes him on is going to owe him money on March 16th. They're going to owe him, I think it's like $19.5 million a month from today. So whether it's Minnesota, whether it's Atlanta, whether it's Miami, whether it's, like this story suggests, the New York Jets, whoever trades for him, it's going to owe him $19.5 million. They're going to have to write that check on the 5th day of the league year. So to me, there's going to be a bunch of teams that'll say, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. You can cut him. We'll call your bluff. Then we'll sign him in free agency. We won't have all of that extracurriculars associated with this. We'll sign him to a clean 2-year deal, pay him way less than the AAV that is on his deal now. I don't have to trade anything for him. I'll call your bluff. But if you can find somebody that's willing to jump the line, that doesn't want to battle it out in free agency for Kyler Murray, and they're willing to swap day 3 picks, you do it. Doesn't matter what value you get for Kyler Murray. The value is in getting that contract off your books, not taking the dead cap penalty, and maximizing the financial return. You got a brand new head coach. You have a GM that's on a hot seat. You don't have a ton of cap space compared to the rest of the league right now. You need to create as much cap space as you can. Remember, Team needs 3 new offensive linemen. Team probably needs 1, if not 2, starting safeties. They need an overhaul to their linebacker room. Could use an additional pass rusher. You're not doing all that in free agency, but you want to have the cap space to see what's out there. So it's not pretty. It's not sexy. It's not a huge return. We're not going to talk about it the way the Micah Parsons trade was talked about, or during the year we talked about the Sauce Gardner trade that the Jets made with the Colts for 2 first-round picks. You're not going to make waves on ESPN and be the top story and have a bunch of pundits say how great of a job you did. But what you are going to have is a lot of cap space. What you are going to have is the freedom to say we're out of the Kyler Murray business and we can focus our pursuits on Malik Willis. We can focus our pursuits on spending this money on the rest of our roster. So to me, that's worth it, regardless of what the trade compensation is.
I think the biggest word you said there is freedom. You open yourself up options. And this offseason,
we love options on this
about
program.
Options.
We love it.
I don't think there was many people in the room this year, many talking heads in the national media, many analysts, experts, whatever you want to call them in the NBA, that said, wow, the Suns won the Kevin Durant deal. But you know what they did do? They opened themselves options. By moving Kevin Durant, they were able to go get Mark Williams on draft night. By moving Kevin Durant, they got themselves under the luxury tax this time around on the trade deadline. So guess what? Maybe they don't get the biggest return for Kyler Murray, but you open yourself options for a rookie head coach to start to construct his roster and to get that pay off the books, to get that money off the salary cap, would do dividends for what he could do to this roster. We talked about he's going to want to put his fingerprint on it in year 1. Not only is he going to be able to do that in year 1, but it's going to open up so much for the next 2 to 3 years for what they're able to do in turnover from an offensive line standpoint, from a skill position standpoint, defensive front, all the holes they need. Quarterback is one of a lot that they need to address this offseason.
I understand some uneasiness about Monty and what he could potentially do in free agency because the resume, the track record isn't great. Has some hits, but it has some big misses. I would much rather him have an additional $34.7 million in cap space than not. And that's what you get if you trade Kyler Murray. $34.7 million in cap space. You know what happens if you cut him? If you cut Kyler Murray outright, it costs you an additional $2 million against the cap to go on top of the $54.7 million in dead cap space that you'll have if you cut him before June 1st. So would you rather get a day 3 pick swap and $35 million in cap that you can utilize for, I don't know, 1, 2 of the starting offensive linemen that we think this team needs? That's why you take whatever. Michael over on YouTube said, I'll take a bag of chips. The cap space is the most important part. And I couldn't agree more. You got to set up your young head coach for success right away. Not a 8, 9, 10, 12 win roster. You don't need to set him up that way, but you need to set him up to have the floor to be a 6 or 7 win team where if the injury luck bounces back, he's a coach that's able to finish those games in the fourth quarter. The overall floor of the team roster-wise is improved. Some bounces of the ball go your way. You can have an 8-9, 9-8 season.
Can you be the New Orleans Saints?
Can you be the New Orleans Saints? And then if a couple more breaks go your way, because I think the Cardinals can have a better roster to start the year than the Saints did this year.
Certainly.
And the Saints won 6 games. So I think you could put yourself, if you do all of this correctly, in a better spot than the Saints were last year.
Correct.
But you kind of need $35 million in cap space to be able to do it. So I don't care. 6th round pick to, I got to attach a 6th round pick to get a 4th round pick back just to get Kyler Murray off the books. Do it. Do it. Free yourself up that money to go out and improve this roster for your young head coach. Because if you don't, it's just going to be really hard to vastly improve this team. And we know this team needs improvements. 480 864-1060, the phone number if you want to weigh in here today on the program. You can also chat away with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel, where we are live streaming the show over there. When we come back, the second half gets underway this week for the Phoenix Suns. What should our expectations be? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
ASU women's basketball continues over on KAZG 1440. This Wednesday, the Lady Sun Devils hit the road to take on Iowa State. And Coach Molly Miller knows how important every win is this late in the season and looks to lead her team to another W. Join Jeff Munn on the call live from Iowa. It's ASU versus Iowa State this Wednesday. Pregame at 5 p.m. and tip-off at 5:30 p.m. over on KAZG 1440.
John Mellencamp. Dancing Words Tour, the greatest hits. August 9th. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. John Mellencamp. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
Meineke's highly skilled and certified technicians always treat your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care using the best state-of-the-art equipment. You can always depend on Meineke to do the job right and get you back on the road in no time. Save time and schedule an appointment now. Visit Meineke.com today. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
Grand opening at Acclaim at 99th Avenue in Thomas, where your Fulton home is more within reach than ever. This is modern living in the heart of the West Valley. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build. For 50 years.
Hey, Ron. Gary.
Gary.
William. Ron.
Gary.
Hey.
Okay, we got that out of the way. What's on your mind?
I don't think people should pay their bills.
That sounds illegal.
Let me finish. I don't think people should pay their bill until 2027 for a brand new system from Alaskan AC.
Wasn't this my idea last month?
Yes, but this is this month, and it's my idea.
Hard to argue that logic. Okay, so the message is simple. Get a brand new heating and air system
Installed neatly in just one day. With AeroSeal duct sealing.
and inspected 5 ways to Sunday. All of it. And make no payments till 2027.
With approved credit. I'm the disclaimer guy.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Now what? No need to complicate things, right? Start this year out with a shiny new heating and air system.
And no payments for a full year.
Seems like we're forgetting something.
No, I did the disclaimer thing.
Can't put my finger on it. Oh, schedule now at alaskanac.com.
That's it. Can't forget that part.
Come see us at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale.
Right now, receive 1.9% financing for up to 60 months on some of Mazda's most popular models, like the brand new 2026 Mazda CX-50.
The name to remember, Mark Mazda. Mark Mazda.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Congratulations to the Seahawks, who dominated the Patriots 29-13. Although it's an interesting way to say dominating the Patriots, because it certainly felt that way. But it was one of those games where I kept thinking, is New England going to steal this? This great defensive performance by Seattle will be wasted by a couple of plays. But give credit to Seattle. They came up with big plays when they needed to.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
The Suns back in action Thursday. They'll take on San Antonio. It's All-Star Weekend. The handoff is official, producer Evan. The countdown is on. All-Star Weekend 2027 coming to the Valley, Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, how about that?
They did the official handoff over the weekend. Now, I will be 100% transparent with this audience because I think I'm pretty good at telling you exactly how I feel.
You're going to be there.
I don't know. I was just going to share with the audience, I didn't watch a single second of All-Star Weekend unless it was thrown into my Twitter timeline or my Instagram reel feed. That's the way I consumed anything from this weekend at the All-Star festivities out in LA. And I've heard through the grapevine, from what I've seen, the effort level was a lot better yesterday in this new USA versus the world format. That's what I heard.
That's what I've heard too.
Now the problem is, the All-Star weekends in general have never really enthralled me, so I don't really, for what we do in this business, I spend a lot of time in front of a TV watching a game. So when I have a chance to spend time with the family, I usually try to take that. All-Star weekends are kind of those weekends to be like, all right, I don't need to watch this, so I'll spend some time with the family. It was Valentine's Day on Saturday, so I figured family first operation here. But the years of the effort level in the NBA All-Star game being questioned, I just didn't care about this new format, so I just didn't sit down to watch it. I'm glad it's getting rave reviews. I'm glad the effort level seemingly was increased, but I can't say that I watched a whole lot.
And it's hard too, like the skills competition. They ruined it a few years ago. Remember Chris Paul doing the run through with, he was just, they weren't shooting.
Oh, that was when he was with the Spurs.
Yeah.
And they were
I think it was last year, right?
Like 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
They were skirting the rules a little bit.
Skirting the rules a little bit. So they did that. And the dunk contest, it's just four guys you've never heard of before.
Well, yes. And, LeBron doesn't do it. The guys you would want to see in the dunk contest don't do it. And so that diminishes it as well. So I heard great things about the All-Star weekend. We've got a couple days off before the Suns are back in action. I know Devin Booker came up just short in the three-point contest on Saturday. But we've got a couple more days until the second half starts. So this feels like a perfect time to do this. Because the first half was all about just being pleasantly surprised with the product you were getting every single night from the Phoenix Suns. At the start of the year, you thought the ceiling of this team was, hey, can we compete for one of those play-in spots? Just a play-in spot. 7, 8, 9, 10. Can we just have a seat at the table? Can we play a meaningful win-or-go-home, must-win basketball game at the end of the season? Can we do that? Because we trade Kevin Durant. We trade Bradley Beal. We've got a new GM. We've got a new, in this case, young head coach, first-time head coach. We know it's going to take some time. Can we just be a little bit more competitive? Can we be spunky in year one, right? Can we just have a little bit of an edge, little bit of grit, little bit of toughness, and maybe exceed expectations a little bit? That's how you felt about this team at the start of the year. And so when they go 32-23, and they exceed their win total in Vegas before we get to the All-Star break, when they are on a path 5 wins away from beating their win total from a year ago, you're pleasantly surprised by that. But now that we enter the unofficial second half of the season and we enter the playoff push, I think it's only fair that now how we view this team, our expectations of this team now change. We kind of reprioritize a little bit. We reset. So that's what I want to do here today. That's what I want to do right now. I want to reset the expectations because I'm sorry, it's not good enough to just be in the play-in tournament now. I don't think if we get to the end of the season and the Suns, for whatever reason, are the 9 or the 10 seed, you're going to be happy with that. You're not going to be excited about being the 9 or the 10 seed needing to win 2 games to get into the playoffs. I don't even think you would be happy if this team allowed Golden State to pass them and they were the 8 seed and that first play-in game would need to be played in the Bay Area. I think worst case scenario, the Suns need to be the 7 seed and that play-in game needs to be here. The home of the 2027 All-Star game. I think it's fair to dream bigger than that, though. I think it's fair, considering what you've seen from this team this year, to say, can we be the 6th seed? Can we get in and completely avoid the play-in tournament? I don't want to say, hey, can you go be the 4 seed and host a playoff series and have Game 7 be at home? That's a little unfair to this group. But can you pass Minnesota? Could you pass the Lakers? Could you pass one of those teams and get yourself firmly into the top 6? Yes, I think that's the new bar to clear. I think that's the new expectation that should be set for this organization now. You exceeded expectations in the first half. We were pleasantly surprised night in and night out. And now I've got enough of a sample size to say, you know what? In the second half, I'm adjusting. I now expect you to beat all these bad teams that you play. I now expect you to win a decent amount of these games when you play some competitive teams around you. I now expect you to be out of the play-in tournament. You've played well enough, especially since Christmas. You've been one of the best teams in the NBA since Christmas. I know you're going through a little bit of a rough patch here in February. The schedule's gotten a little bit more difficult. You're getting a little tired. You've had some injuries hit you at the wrong time. I get all of that. This team and their play in the first half demand us to change the expectations. Brian Gregory and Jordan Ott, the work that they've done to craft this roster, to coach this roster, the way the players have played in the first half demands us to change the expectations. Because if after what we've seen through 53 games, that's good math, right? 32 and 23 is 55. We're good with that, 55?
55 games.
Through 55 games, they've played better than any of us thought they were going to play. Through 55 games, they've told you to raise the bar. Their play, they haven't said it outright. Their play has said it for them. Their play has said, raise the bar. The play-in tournament is not good enough for this team. We're better than that. That's what they've told you by their play. That's what they've told you by being competitive against Oklahoma City. That's what they've told you by beating the Lakers every time they've played them this season. That's what they've told you by beating Minnesota, by beating San Antonio. They've told you by the way that they've played, the play-in tournament is not a bar set high enough. So, okay, I'm going to raise the bar. I'm going to raise the bar to say, avoid the play-in tournament. That's the expectation for the second half. That's the expectation as we close out the fourth hardest schedule in the month of February. That's how the expectations change as we go into March, where they have a lengthy road trip that's really going to test this team. Okay, Devin Booker, all-star once again. Okay, Jalen Green, who's only played 7 games. Dylan Brooks, who's got to manage his technical fouls. Grayson Allen when he gets back. Mark Williams, Colin Gillespie. Okay, you've done it. You've showed us in the first half of the season that you are better than we thought you were. We're going to adjust accordingly. How do you respond? How do you respond to that pressure? How do you respond to those raised expectations? The play-in tournament is not good enough now. You need to avoid it altogether. So that's what we're going to do this week. We've now reset the expectations. Before the season, the play-in tournament, the 7 or 8 seed, you would have taken it. You would have signed up for it the moment I offered it to you at the beginning of the season. Well, guess what? It's like the scene in Draft Day. When he's trying to make the deal, I quote this movie way too much on the show. When he's trying to make the deal with the Seattle GM and he takes too long to offer the deal and he says, sorry, that deal's off the table now. The deal of being a play-in tournament team, I'm taking it off the table now. You need to aim higher because you've played like a team that needs to aim higher.
Need David Putney now.
Now I need David Putney because I feel like it. That's all I can say. I can't do the full quote. I need David Putney. So now the Suns have to go out there and get me David Putney. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also chat away with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. When we come back, we wrap up hour number 1 here of the lunch break. The Diamondbacks, they broke their own rule. Kind of worries me. I'll tell you why next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
NAU men's basketball action right here on KDUS AM 1060. This Saturday evening, join the Lumberjacks as they hit the road to take on Northern Colorado. Head coach Shane Burkhardt is more than ready to show off his team's talents on the road and earn his team another win. Join Mitch Strowman on the call live. It's NAU versus Northern Colorado this Saturday. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. and tip-off at 6 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and the KDUS 1060 app.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Friday, March 6th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails. Live in Glendale. Peel It Back Tour 2026.
Doesn't it make you feel better?
breakfast sets a tone for the rest of the day. It can also deliver the most value, convenience, and deliciousness thanks to McDonald's 2 for $5 mix and match deal. Wake up to a fluffy, mouth-watering sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles and a savory, scrumptious sausage McMuffin with egg, both for just $5. And you early birds can order ahead in the McDonald's app. Value, convenience, deliciousness. Let a McDonald's breakfast set the tone for the rest of your day. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
What's better than a credit card with low interest? How about one with no interest? For a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa credit card, you'll enjoy 0% APR for the first 6 months. Transfer your balances from higher rate cards to your new America First card to consolidate debt and potentially save yourself a lot of money. That's 0 interest for 6 months. Interested? Then hurry to americafirst.com to apply today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate is subject to membership, eligibility, terms, creditworthiness, change, and conditions. Other limits and requirements may apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
On the farm, the day begins early, like before the rooster crows, when the sun is still struggling to rise. We're up, milking our cows, feeding them a well-balanced meal, and making sure none wandered off to see if the grass was greener someplace else. We work hard so you can start your day the right way. Real milk from farm to fridge in 48 hours. Arizona dairy farmers don't wait to have morning coffee before we get started, because we know you need milk for yours.
Dedication. It's undeniably dairy. A message from the Arizona milk producers.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
Indiana is not cheating. Lining up and punching the other guy in the face for 60 minutes, not against the rules. I challenge any of you social media whistleblowers to tell Kurt Signetti to his face that he is a cheater.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I want to take you back to before the offseason even began for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Before they signed Mike Soroka, before they signed Merrill Kelly, before they traded for Nolan Arenado, before the Ketel Marte trade rumors got out of hand in the winter meetings, I want to take you to a time before all of that. I want to take you to a time when the team president, Derek Hall, told the world that the payroll was going to come down. That, of course, after the last 2 years of not returning to the postseason, after reinvesting the money made from the run in the 2023 playoffs all the way to the World Series, that, of course, things would have to be different. We spent how much time on this program in November, in October, talking about how, hey, they're not going to run out the same payroll. They can't. Ken Kendrick took all the money from the playoff run in 23, invested it into the 2014. The 2014, it didn't work out. They doubled down. They said, you know what? I'm not just going to have this be a one and done. We're going to go out and sign Corbin Burns. We're going to give it another go. But after 2 years, you could understand at least bringing it back down a little bit. Well, it's not exactly how it all played out. The Arizona Diamondbacks are actually going to, at the start of the 2026 season, have a higher payroll than they had in 2025. A higher payroll than they had at the start of 2025. And Ken Kendrick, meeting with the media over the weekend, basically admitted that this is not how he saw it working out, but he hopes that this bet pays off, that he hopes that this expanding of the payroll a little bit leads to the success that is needed to get back to the postseason. And this is me adding to this, but to get back to the postseason, to get those playoff gates, to get that playoff TV money, to bring in more revenue so that they can continue to invest in this team at this level. This worries me, though. Now, I hear you, Chris. How can you be worried about an owner that's willing to spend? How can you be worried about an owner that's about to run, yet again, a nearly $200 million payroll? We've got a sport right now that's probably not going to have a 2027 season because owners won't spend money, but you're worried about Ken Kendrick spending $200 million on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hopefully, I can explain to you why this worries me. Because the Diamondbacks have spent more than they spent last year. Are they a better baseball team than they were at the start of 2025? When you look at the team on paper, When you look at Carlos Santana as your starting first baseman, Ketel Marte at second, Geraldo Perdomo at short, Nolan Arenado at third, Gabby Moreno behind the plate. I'm not even going to try to guess what the outfield configuration is going to be on opening day, but probably Corbin Carroll will be out there in right field. If not, soon after, he'll be in right field. A pitching staff that's got Corbin Burns, but he's hurt, that brought back Merrill Kelly, that brought back Zac Gallen, that added Mike Soroka. A bullpen with the arms that they have, the question marks that they have out there. Is this team better than the team that you had in 2025 with a healthy Corbin Burns, with Josh Naylor playing first base, with Eugenio Suarez playing third base, with the outfield set up the way that it was? AJ Puck and Justin Martinez healthy and available out there in the bullpen. Are they a better team when 2026 starts than they were in 2025? That's what worries me. Because you've spent all this money. You've added, we did the math this morning, around $70 million in money that you've spent on players to bring in. Right? This is Nolan Arenado, the $5 million that they're paying him this year. This is what they're paying for Merrill Kelly and Zac Gallen. You add it all up, it comes out to around $70 million in players that they brought in this offseason. Are they a better baseball team for that $70 million that they spent? Do you think if I gave you that $70 million and you looked at some of the contracts that were given out in free agency that you couldn't put together a better team? And so what worries me is not that Ken Kendrick is willing to do this. I love this. This should be applauded. This should be praised. All of the people who complain about the sport of baseball and complain about owners not spending, I wish they would spend some of that breath to praise owners like Ken Kendrick for doing this, because he is going to run this team at a loss yet again this year. What worries me about this is you are willing to spend this money and you may be chasing after empty promises. Because I don't know if this team can win enough games to get into the postseason. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that they're competitive. I'm hopeful that they can get into the postseason as a wild card team. It doesn't matter how much they spend. You don't expect them to win the division, guarantee themselves some playoff games. So you have to hope you can be a wild card team and guarantee yourself 2. And that doesn't even guarantee 2 home games. They may be chasing after empty promises. So they spend all this money. And if it doesn't work out, what does the payroll look like in 2027? Because if you continue to run this team with these high payrolls and you don't make the playoffs and you don't have the increased attendance and you don't have the playoff gates, at some point, the chickens come home to roost. At some point, the bill is due. And at some point, the payroll, the pendulum is going to swing back in the other direction. I love taking these swings, but was this the offseason to take the swing? And if you were going to take the swing, did you take the right swing? Because I think I would have framed this offseason a lot differently if I knew that the payroll was going to be close to $200 million. If I knew that Ken Kendrick would be okay with Mike Hazen running the bill up to nearly $200 million in payroll, I think we could have had a little bit more creative conversations this offseason about how to make this team better. And oh, by the way, I wonder if trading Ketel Marte would have helped all of this and freeing up that $14 million. I wonder if trading Ketel Marte for a bunch of different players that could have helped this team, in addition to freeing up his $14 million to go along with all the other money that they spend, the 20 on Merrill Kelly, the 20 on Zac Gallen, that's 40 right there. 5 on Nolan Arenado, that gets you to 45, 47 when you factor in Carlos Santana. I mean, you add it all up. You add in Ketel Marte's 14, say you get to $70 million that they could have spent a little differently. So I wonder if we knew back at the beginning of this offseason that they were actually going to run this payroll up towards $200 million, would we have agreed with all of these moves? Would we have agreed with this being the approach? I don't know. I don't think so. And that's what worries me. I don't know if this pursuit is going to lead to the amount of wins that it needs to. I'm hopeful. I think they can be a competitive bunch, but I still have my questions about this team. What a fun hour number 1 of the program. We got buy or sell coming up in hour number 2. I want to talk about the Cardinals and what their roster building philosophy could be this offseason. And we talked about changing the expectations for the Suns, but have they already accomplished their goals? All of it in hour number 2 next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This is Michael with Restore My Civil Rights. I made a lot of poor decisions in my past that had lifelong consequences. After I was released from prison for the last time in 2014, I discovered the process to have my convictions dismissed and all of my rights restored, including my Second Amendment rights. Since achieving this for myself in 2018, our attorney has assisted over 3,000 others in doing the same. If you are still living under the consequences of past mistakes and would like to restore your rights as I have, visit RestoreMyCivilRights.com and book a free consultation today.
This ain't pop. This ain't pretty. This is Southern hospitality. The Black Crows, Whiskey Myers, blues-soaked guitars, outlaw swagger. Rock and roll the way it was meant to be. Loud, raw, and real. The Southern Hospitality Tour. The Black Crows, Whiskey Myers. Saturday, August 15th. Mortgage Matchup Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
The wait is over. 2027 Kia Tellurides have arrived at Mark Kia in Scottsdale. And right now, you can lease a brand new 2027 Kia Telluride for just $449 a month for 36 months with just $39.99 due at signing.
And if you're thinking about selling or trading your current vehicle, please give us a call. Our data shows that 9 out of 10 times we offer more. Don't risk losing $1,000 or more by not making that simple phone call.
The name to remember, Mark Kia, Mark Kia. $0 security deposit, payment plus tax title license, and the $8.98 adopt fee. Offer expires March 2nd, 2026.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
The Renaissance Festival is back. Weekends now through March 29th. Be ready to have a great time. Amazing adventure awaits the entire family. New shows, shopping, jousting nights, non-stop feasting. Leave your cares behind. Happiness reigns at the Renaissance Festival. It's fun and affordable. Visit now through March 29th. Discount tickets available at Bashas' and Food City or online at arizona.renfestinfo.com. Presented by Delta Airlines, Bashas', Food City, Pepsi, Budweiser, and Guinness.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan on the other side of the glass. A very quick, rapid hour number 1 here on the Monday edition of the show.
Yeah, we're moving pretty fast.
Yeah, we are flying through the program, and we kick off hour number 2. We welcome in producer Evan to the program. It's where he shines.
This is my
This is your moment.
This is my moment.
It's a little buy or sell.
This is a little buy or sell.
I'm intrigued to see where buy or sell goes today because we don't really have a whole lot going on out there in the world of sports.
Yeah, we got some good takes.
The Olympic curling controversy.
That's more of a leftovers
That's a
thing.
leftovers thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
A lot of hypotheticals, right? Like it's a hypothetical day.
Yeah, this is where you can kind of, you're not reacting or giving thoughts or takes off of a game. You're speaking more in the big picture.
Yeah,
type stuff.
you're going broad,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm thinking broad, Suns rest of the season.
Okay.
Suns have to win 17 of their last 27.
I mean,
by the way,
come on, man.
What a professional transition. Sorry, Suns will win 17 or more of their last 27.
It's a great transition.
It's a tremendous one, and I'm going to read you the last 27 games.
No, you don't need to.
Can you find?
Listen,
He's got it.
I'm a pro. I'm ready.
He's got it. So going through here,
We're not going to play the win-loss game for 27 games.
You got to beat Orlando. You got to beat Portland. You have to beat Sacramento and Chicago. New Orleans, Charlotte. I mean, it gets easy here. Indiana, and then it gets tough again.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Suns could go on a run where they win 9 of 10 games.
Are you talking about starting February 21st?
I think if you start with Orlando.
Yeah.
And
you should be.
And you run through the 12th at Indiana. They could. I don't know if they will. They could win 9 of those 10. Because I got to tell you, no Giannis at Milwaukee, you can win that game.
No Giannis, you can win that game. So think about it this way. You need to split with the Lakers and Boston. Because you should win.
Orlando and Portland at home.
Orlando, Portland. Then you have Boston, Los Angeles. By the way, all 4 of those at home. Then you travel to Sacramento.
Yeah.
You're back home for Chicago, New Orleans, Charlotte. You got to take all 3. On the road in Milwaukee, on the road in Indiana. You need to win 9 of 10 of them.
Also, I'm looking at the end of March. Utah, at Memphis,
at Orlando, at Charlotte, at Chicago.
So let me do some math.
Come home to play Houston.
So they can only have 10 more losses, 17 more win. You 49-win basketball team? That's what you're projecting right now? 17 of their last 27 would be a 49-win basketball team. I just
yeah.
They've won 32.
That's what I think of the Phoenix Suns. They're healthy. Jalen Green's going to play every game.
I'll take the under on that. I'll sell this take. I think that's being a little too optimistic. I mean, 49 wins. Let me look.
Sorry about my optimism.
No. Listen, I appreciate the optimism. And I appreciate what you did here. It was a good launching point for us. But I just want to see something. I want to see last year where 49 wins would have got you. 49 wins would have... Well, hold on a second. Have you written it down in Sharpie? Because I may want to change my mind. 49 wins was good enough to be the 6th seed last year. Minnesota was 49-33, and they were the 6th seed. Golden State and Memphis both had 48 wins. They were the 7 and 8 seeds, respectfully. I don't know. Do you need to win 49 games this year to be kind of look Oklahoma City 42-14, math 34. I'm going to sell the take that they will do this, but I think that's what it's going to take for them to be the 6th seed.
17.
I mean, Minnesota needs 15 to get to that number. Right?
So yeah, assuming, I don't know how many games Minnesota has played.
Minnesota has played 56.
So they got a game in hand.
They have to go 15-11 the rest of the way. That's barely above 500.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. For the Suns, that's 17-10. It's an extra game, and it's, you have to have a pretty good winning percentage.
Very good.
There's a difference between 17-10 and 15-11.
Yeah. A lot more room for error.
The Lakers, they're at 33. They've played 54 games. So they have to go 15-13. That's barely above 500 to get to 49.
Yeah, you have to win 20 games.
So the Suns are going to have to be 17-10 or better.
I think they're going to have to be 20-7.
They're going to have to be really good here on the back part of the schedule. So I will sell that they'll do this, but I think that's what it's going to take.
Zac Gallen will post a sub 3.5 ERA this year.
Am I done with this? I can put this back?
You can put that back. You're not going to need it at all.
Phoenix Suns schedule back where it belongs. Zac Gallen will pitch to a sub 3.5 ERA.
Correct.
I mean, he has 100 to 125 million reasons to pitch to a sub 3.5 ERA. Because if he has a good year, I think he's going to cash in big time. There's no draft pick associated with him. If it's a full year of greatness following a really great second half, he's had a number of good years in his career. The body of work, I think, gets stronger if he has a good year. So he's going to be extremely motivated. It's really hard to predict this stuff, though, right? Because, does he make 30 starts? Does he stay healthy enough to make 30 starts? I hate to say that out loud, but in today's Pablo Lopez for the Twins. Something happened with his elbow today. They pulled him off the field. He's getting imaging. They don't think it's a concern, but at any moment, this could happen.
It could happen any day.
So to say that he's going to pitch to a sub 3.5 ERA, the changes that he made in the second half, can he perform them over the course of a full season. I'd like to see it. You know what? I haven't done this in a while. I'd like to put this on layaway.
Whoa.
I want to see his first couple of spring training starts. Not result dependent. I want to see what pitches he uses.
I can't believe we got a layaway take here.
Because if he backs off of his four-seam usage and adds more of his other fastball offerings,
the cutter two-seamer,
I'm going to buy this take.
I got to be very honest with you. His four-seamer was flat last year.
It is, over the last couple of years, it has struggled. And so I think if he throws more sink and more of the cutter to go along with the great knuckle curve, then I'll buy this take. And he started to do it a little bit in the second half last year.
Was it one game where he had the heavy cutter usage?
I think it was there were a couple of games where he also had the heavy sinker usage.
Yeah.
And I wish he would use that pitch more. So if he comes out in spring and starts utilizing that a lot more, that's going to be a sign to me that he found something in the second half and been working on it, and I'll buy the take. So I just want to put it on layaway to see, and it's going to be really hard because you kind of tinker with stuff, you kind of experiment in spring, but I want to see if he experiments with the sinker and the cutter in spring. So a take on layaway, please. I'll come back to it in a couple of weeks.
The D-backs offseason is officially done.
I'll sell this take as well. I mean, we're past where we said the budget was going to be. So you might as well, right? You're not at the first luxury tax threshold, so you're not going to get...
And can they add Adam Frazier anymore? Oh, that's right. They missed out on him too.
Adam Frazier signed. We were having a great time in the morning meeting, and then a somber mood came over the room when I shared the John Heyman tweet that Adam Frazier signed a minor league deal with the Angels. And I don't know if there's a radio show in the Valley that was as upset about Adam Frazier not signing with the Diamondbacks as we were.
No, probably nobody. I bet you. Do you think there was another radio show here in town
that brought up Adam Frazier?
Even had him on there?
No, I think the only place that you could get that was here on this show.
I think that's very fair to say.
But we were very heartbroken today when we saw Adam Frazier sign with the Angels. No, I don't think they're done.
Roman Anthony was the right pick for the USA WBC team.
So Roman Anthony, as long as he clears his physical, will officially be the replacement. Unless he's cleared that physical and he officially is the replacement for Corbin Carroll in the WBC. I mean, he looks like and I mean this with respect, he looks like a refrigerator.
Yeah, no, I actually think like his build.
He has bulked up to a point where I almost wouldn't blame Major League Baseball.
It's concerning.
If they tested him. Like, you know how after a guy has a good game in the NFL, the cup normally shows up in the locker room after the game?
Yes.
I would not be surprised if after the social media clips of what Roman Anthony looks like at the beginning of Red Sox spring training, if MLB asked him to,
I'm trying to find how much weight he put on. It feels like 30 pounds.
He looks like a refrigerator.
I saw a picture of him the other day. He looks like an NFL tight end.
He does.
He looks like an NFL tight end. He's a massive, massive human. Side note, Boston's got so many outfielders. No idea what they're doing with any of them.
Well, that's why
Jarren Duran's name's going to come up every year for the next 10.
That's why the Ketel Marte for Jarren Duran thing was so popular.
Yeah. Would have made a lot of sense. Wish they did it.
I kind of wish they did, knowing what we know about how the offseason played out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I think he's a great replacement.
I think he's great. Draws eyes to some of the young guys in the game, too.
For sure.
Tyreek Hill will sign back with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Probably. Yeah, I'll buy this. It's really hard to figure out what Tyreek Hill's market's going to be.
Yeah, coming off the injury, it's going to be interesting.
Because is he going to play in 2026? And if he does, how much is he going to play? I can't imagine he's ready for the start of the season, right? I can't imagine.
No. I'll find the day he got hurt.
Is it midway through the season? Is he somebody that I'm adding for the playoffs? In that case, then the Chiefs make sense, right? They know Tyreek Hill. They know how to kind of manage the whole situation. He can be a late season addition to the team for the playoff run. Like, the Chiefs make sense if that's the case.
I thought it was later, so he got hurt September 29th.
I know, but this is not just an ACL surgery where he can be back. I mean, he completely obliterated his knee.
Yeah, no, it's listen, it's not Teddy Bridgewater bad.
Is he back? Is he back in November? Is he back in December?
I think he'd be back by October.
Well, if that's the case, then I think his market may be a little more robust. Because you have to remember, you're kind of getting all of it when you bring Tyreek Hill in, right? He's a personality. He's a wide receiver that comes with the diva-ish tendencies. There's the off-the-field stuff that's always a concern. It's just a lot. And so I don't know how many teams are going to sign up for that. So I think the Chiefs makes the most sense because, one, I think they have a need. Two, they've dealt with it all before. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, I think, are great leaders in that regard. So I think that makes the most sense. I'll buy.
Olympic hockey is the best sport in the Olympics.
By the way, shout out to the women's United States team. Big 5-0 win over Sweden in the semis. Going to the gold.
Welcome to the gold medal match.
That's right. It was a big win for them earlier today. I'm sorry, what did you ask me?
It's the hockey is the best sport in the Olympics.
Right now with the controversy in curling, curling's can't miss right now.
That is true.
Curling is can't miss right. Anytime the Canadians play curling, can't miss TV right now.
No, so you have to explain to people what the controversy is.
I kind of want to save it for the leftovers because I want to talk about it more.
Yeah.
But just to kind of set it up, because we will talk about this in the leftovers because we are the unofficial curling show here in the Valley. But the Canadians were accused over the weekend of double touching the stone, which you can't do. It's against the rules.
And we'll explain how.
And the Canadians men's team got accused of this by the Swedes. And let me tell you.
By the way, openly during the match.
It got a little heated.
It almost got physical.
I mean, people on the internet were breaking down the footage, zooming in slow-mo to try to figure out if it was going on. And then the Canadian women's team got penalized for doing it. It's a full-blown controversy in Italy at the Olympics.
Curling.
That's
all I got for you.
What a great addition of buy or sell. You want to join us here today on the program? 480-864-1060. That is the phone number for you to hang out with us here today on the show. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. And hey, download the free KDUS AM 1060 app so you can take us with you on the go. When we come back, the Cardinals, they got a new man in charge. Is that going to change how they approach roster building? That's next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join ASU baseball this Friday night right here on KDUS AM 1060. Start your weekend with ASU and the Diamond as the Sun Devils take on St. John's University. Head coach Lee Bloomquist knows what it takes to lead his team to another series opener win this season. Join Tim Healy on the call live. It's ASU versus St. John's University. Pre-game at 6:15 p.m. and first pitch at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can change fast. That's when the attorneys at Sweet James step in. They help you understand your rights, connect you with medical care, and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. You don't pay anything unless your case is resolved successfully, and help is available 24 hours a day. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Español. 800-900-0000. 800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tech Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
A night you don't want to miss. Avenged Sevenfold. Good Charlotte. North America Tour 2026. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. August 27th, Avenged Sevenfold. Good Charlotte, an epic night of music. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Avenged Sevenfold and Good Charlotte, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
The Valley of the Sun will roar to life this spring.
This ought to get pretty wild here.
Why is that, you may ask? Because NASCAR and the NTT IndyCar Series are coming to Phoenix, and it's going to be a weekend of good vibes the whole family won't forget. The best-in-class fan experience meets racing's toughest drivers for 3 days of action on and off the track. all surrounded by the beautiful Estrella Mountains. NASCAR weekend at Phoenix Raceway, March 5th through the 8th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
Been crazy busy these days? Sounds like you could use a little we time. That means playtime at the AAA 4-Diamond Wecopa Casino Resort. Game time with more than 900 slots plus table games. Maybe a tea time on one of 2 nationally ranked courses. And definitely some hang time at WKP Sportsbook, the largest sportsbook in the state. Wecopa Casino Resort. It's we time.
The noise. This year's March Madness is quietly turning into one of the more mysterious tournaments we've seen in some time. The talent is obvious. Players like BYU's A.J. Debansa, Duke's Cameron Boozer, and Kansas' Darren Patterson give the field star power. At the same time, the usual heavyweights are right where we expect them. Arizona, Michigan, Houston, Duke, Connecticut, Michigan State. Programs built for March. Rosters designed to survive chaos. That part of the bracket feels familiar. What makes this tournament different is the crowd forming behind them. Iowa State, Nebraska, Vandy, teams not supposed to be in this conversation, now very much part of it. This tournament does not have a clear script. It feels deeper than usual, more balanced, and far less forgiving. Talent is everywhere. Confidence is spreading. That usually means madness. This year's tournament will be deep, loaded, and if chaos delivers, it'll be unforgettable. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Goodyear tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan. See their Goodyear test results, tire ratings, and reviews. Be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com. The way tire buying should be.
At Heartland Steakco, they take their bacon seriously, from their double smoked hickory to their honey jalapeno, which brings sweet and spicy together for the perfect combination, to their all-new bacon flavors like whiskey peppercorn with its smoky richness, to their applewood double smoked bacon that's smoked over real applewood chips. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And right now, when you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping plus 2 pounds of bacon with promo code BACON. Taste the Heartland difference.
Join ASU Baseball this Friday night right here on KDUS AM 1060. Start your weekend with ASU and the Diamond as the Sun Devils take on St. John's University. Head coach Lee Bloomquist knows what it takes to lead his team to another series opener win this season. Join Tim Healy on the call live. It's ASU versus St. John's University. Pre-game at 6:15 p.m. and first pitch at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
There is a fun conversation to have when a new general manager or a new head coach is brought in. And in this case, for the Arizona Cardinals, it is just a brand new head coach, but it allows us to talk about how different the roster building process will be. Because not only is it just a new voice in Michael LaFleur, and he may do things differently than Jonathan Gannon, but it's also now a different side of the ball that your head coach is a savant in, right? That's his expertise, right? You had a defensive-minded head coach in Jonathan Gannon. You've now flipped sides to Michael LaFleur. And with that is going to come different tendencies in what Michael LaFleur wants in certain players. And so this is kind of a chance for there to be a reordering of how things are done, what type of players are being acquired. Now, some things are going to remain the same. Nick Rallis is going to be the defensive coordinator. So I think a lot of the basic things that the Cardinals do on defense will remain the same. Some stuff will probably change now that Nick Rallis can do it his way. But overall, I think what you've seen this team do in terms of how they've acquired defensive players will mostly stay the same. But Michael LaFleur is going to want to put his flavor on things. And that's where the relationship between him and Monty Ossenfort is going to be so important. Now, the reason why I bring this up here today is because The Athletic dropped a story about one salary cap cut possibility for all 32 teams. And when I saw the name on the list for the Arizona Cardinals, my immediate gut reaction was, what are they talking about? Why was this a suggestion? But then I had to stop and think. And I thought to myself, maybe this is Mike LaFleur wanting to do things his way. Not to say that the Cardinals leak this to the person who wrote this story, but just how this could be the result of a different roster building process. Because the name listed for the Cardinals as a potential salary cap cut for 2026 was running back James Conner. And so the initial gut reaction is, why would you get rid of James Conner? You just signed him to an extension. When healthy, he's been a extremely productive player for you. He's been a leader on offense. You just brought in an offensive-minded head coach. James Conner is the perfect player to kind of have the buy-in to the new regime, to be able to sell the message, right? Kind of like a Dylan Brooks for the Phoenix Suns. Why would he be a potential cap candidate? Well, aside from the reasoning that Doug Holler gave of that you can free up $8 million in cap space to probably better utilize elsewhere, and you've got Trey Benson on the roster probably primed for a decent role in a Mike LaFleur offense, there's also the things are different now. Under Jonathan Gannon, you'd laugh this off. You can't laugh anything off with Mike LaFleur. You can't laugh anything off with this new regime, even though it's kind of got some of the same pieces. It's got the same GM. It has some similar position coaches. You still have a new head man in charge. And so with that is going to come a new way of doing things, to where you can't laugh off James Conner being cut. You can't laugh off anything about the way this roster gets put together, because you went 3-14 last year. You brought in a new head coach. You completely changed the direction of your franchise. And so with that comes a reevaluation of everything. With that comes an exploration of every possible change that you can make to this team to go from 3-14 to being a competitive football team in 2026. So my gut reaction was, why would they do this? The gut reaction was, this is a type of player that you would want to have around. But the more I sat back and thought about it, you just realize that not only are there going to be new players that come in, just new faces, but there's going to be a new approach, because the old approach didn't work. The old approach led to a coach getting fired after 3 seasons. The approach led to 2 of the worst seasons in franchise history. The old approach with a defensive-minded head coach didn't work. So there's going to be a new approach, and so that means there's going to be a new way of doing everything. And that could include James Conner getting cut. That could include household favorites being removed from this team because it didn't work. It was a 3-14 season last year. So I think not only are there going to be new faces, but there's going to be a new philosophy that I can try to guess at based on the way Sean McVay did things with the Rams, but it's just guesswork. We kind of have to see it play out. But I think the message that I want to send to everybody here today is, don't be surprised by anything the Cardinals do this offseason. Don't be surprised. Everything can and should be on the table. Everything can and should be a possibility, in the hopes, pointing towards the North Star of, how do we improve this team? How do we get better as a group? Maybe that $8 million for James Conner would be better suited as part of the contract that goes to one of the 3 new starting offensive linemen that this team needs. Maybe that $8 million is better suited to get a starting safety. Maybe that $8 million is better suited to get Malik Willis here, if that's the path the Cardinals choose to go in, when you've already got Trey Benson on the roster. These are the types of decisions. These are the types of conversations that will have to be had. These are the types of decisions that allow you to turn things around. They're tough. I won't play the tough conversations drop, but they are tough conversations. James Conner is a household favorite. You just gave him a contract extension. You'd basically be cutting him basically because he got hurt last year. But these are the things you have to do. These are where you have to create margin. You have to create cap space so that you can go out there and improve this team. Because right now, with their current cap commitments, I don't know how they're going to achieve all of this. So they're going to have to do stuff here over the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks, I should say, that's going to raise the eyebrow a little bit. My message to you today is expect it and be okay with it. That's what you have to kind of come around on. That this offseason is going to be bumpy. I think this offseason is going to include some things that you were not expecting. And that is all part of the process of cleaning up the mess from a 3-14 season and trying to put this thing back on the rails, back on track.
There's going to be a lot to get done. So you got to take it kind of one step at a time. And we'll start with, we've talked about kind of extensively that this team's going to want to run the football this year. Under Mike LaFleur, they're going to want to run the football. How can you do it effectively? It's going to start with the running back.
Yeah, and they may reshape it, right? Trey Benson may get elevated to be the starter if they decide to go down this road and free up the $8 million, and then they can draft somebody, right? They can draft somebody on day 2. They can draft somebody on day 3 that Mike LaFleur likes. And you would kind of trust Mike LaFleur's talent evaluation skills if he takes somebody on the offensive side of the ball, because he can clearly envision a role for that player. And so you kind of give Mike LaFleur the benefit of the doubt. And so it's the offseason for the Cardinals, just like it is for the Suns, just like it is for the Diamondbacks, just like it is for any team in sports. It's a puzzle. And it's not one of those puzzles that you buy at the store and you dump the pieces out and it only gets put together one way. It's 100 pieces and it gets put together the one way that the 100 pieces fit. An offseason in sports is a big, gigantic 500-piece puzzle that can be put together multiple ways. And depending on which way you put it together, it formulates a different picture. But that picture kind of serves the same purpose. That's what this offseason is going to be for the Arizona Cardinals. Figuring out how to put the pieces together that they have to the puzzle to paint a picture that they like, to put together a team that they think is going to be better than the team they had a year ago. You can't go into the offseason saying the puzzle only goes together. We trade Kyler Murray, we keep James Conner, we sign Malik Willis, we draft this player, this player, this player, and it's that rigid and it's that specific. It doesn't work that way. There has to be flexibility. You have to have options. You have to be willing to kind of go where the winds take you. And part of the way you do that is you go into it with a rough draft, a plan A, but you have to have the plan B, the plan C, the plan D. You have to have all of the backup options. And part of the way you have backup options, if you have flexibility. That's why trading Kyler Murray is so important. That's why looking at restructures for the contracts you have on the books is so important. You have to create the most cap space you can so that if you don't get plan A, you have the money to go to plan B. Or if you need to spend a little bit more on plan A that you anticipated, you do it because you feel like this is a player that changes the game for you. That's what it's about. And so this is an offseason about not only improving this team, but this is an offseason, I think, about changing the roster building mechanics of this organization. And that to me is the most fascinating thing. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also chat away with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel where we are live streaming the show as well. When we come back, I know we mentioned in hour number 1 about changing the expectations for the Phoenix Suns, but is there an argument that they've already achieved their goal? Try to make that case next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your desert destination for sports here in the Valley.
Not surprised that the Cardinals aren't in. They fired their head coach. Kyler Murray's probably on his way out. It is what they like to call Black Monday. I'm kind of surprised by the Raheem Morris one in Atlanta. It's only been how long? Year? 2 years. So maybe that one. Pete Carroll gone. I told you from the jump when they hired Pete Carroll, I didn't like the hire. I think he's past his due. Let him go after year 1. You might as well have kept the guy you had before and saved a bunch of money.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
It's been 2 seasons on We Fixed It, You're Welcome, and we're still just getting started.
I think we've identified very clearly that there are major issues here.
The problem is the rebrand backfired. People were confused.
No apologies. The door hits you on the way out. Fired on the spot. Companies, culture, chaos. If it's broken, we're going to fix it. That's my fix this time around.
I like that idea. I love that.
Catch up before season 3, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. We Fixed It, You're Welcome.
Bad Omens. Do you feel love? North American Tour 2026. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, March 24th. Bad Omens. with special guests Beartooth and President. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bad Omens, live in Glendale.
Meineke always treats your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke's certified technicians will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care. Schedule an appointment at Meineke.com. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
Come on down to the Ranch House Grill. Comfort food is your next meal. Pork chili verde, chicken fried steak. Ranch House knows you'll think it's great. Hey there, Phoenix. Have you tasted the best breakfast in town yet? Well, Ranch House Grill has it. From our crispy golden chicken fried steak to our hearty slow-cooked pork chili verde, our generous portions are sure to make you feel right at home. We serve breakfast and lunch every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. in a cozy, family-friendly spot with a small-town feel. After 19 years of serving up Southwestern comfort food, we're still right here on 56th Street and Thomas Road. Come on by and let us make your morning special.
So, you're ready to propose, huh? Yeah, man. She's definitely the one. What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler. I could use some help with that. Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Right now at Mark Kia, you can lease the brand new 2027 Kia Telluride for just $449 a month or 36 months with just $39.99 due at signing.
The name to remember? Mark Kia. Mark Kia. Title license in 998.B. Offer expires March 2nd, 2026.
Women of Poker. Ante up for the ultimate showdown at Talking Stick Resort. The second annual National Women's Poker Championship is happening February 28th through March 1st. Bring your skills, trust your instincts, and compete for an estimated $69,000 prize pool. Find all the details at TalkingStickResort.com and register now to claim your seat at the table. Must be 21 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
I'm not here to bury Mike Tomlin, but the fact is, this absolutely is the right move. He did the right thing, and he fired himself. All good things come to an end. Going a decade without winning a single playoff game is not meeting the standard.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Brian Gregory was kind of busy over the weekend.
The alignment.
Free agent forward, Haywood Highsmith, multi-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. The 29-year-old is coming off of a knee surgery, hasn't played much this season. But I think Haywood Highsmith and what he represents is proof that the Phoenix Suns have already achieved their major goal this offseason. Because producer Evan, I'd like you to weigh in on this. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But before the year, it was not about a number of wins for the Phoenix Suns. It wasn't about making the playoffs. It wasn't about any of that. It was about putting this franchise on a path towards being a sustainable winner. It was about, we tried to do the quick fix, accumulate stars, we trade, we give out big contracts, drafting and developing. We don't do that. We swing big. We got to have stars. We got to have that appeal. That's the way we're going to try to win a championship. That way didn't work. And so now Matt Ishbia flipped the script. It's about culture. It's about developing talent. It's about playing defense. It's about putting together a team that the fans can be proud of. It's about building a sustainable winner and understanding that that takes time. Right? That's what the goal was at the beginning of the year. To feel like at the end, because I remember saying this, at the end of the year, to feel like the team is on the right path. I don't need to the end of the season to know that the team is on the right path, but that's what we said. At the end of the year, can you feel like they got the right GM, they got the right coach, they have some of the right pieces to build this core around, right? That's what it was about. I think the signing of Haywood Highsmith is proof that they've already done that. And I'm going to read to you the blurb in the story that was written on ESPN that I think proves why they've already achieved their goal. Quote, Highsmith considered multiple playoff teams before reaching an agreement with the Suns, sources said. Highsmith was acquired by the Brooklyn Nets in a trade with the Miami Heat last offseason and then was waived at this month's trade deadline to become a free agent, end quote. Haywood Highsmith had multiple offers from teams that are going to the playoffs. And as a free agent, not a trade, as a free agent, picked the Phoenix Suns. He chose, to quote LeBron James, to take his talents to Phoenix. He wasn't traded here where he doesn't have a choice because he doesn't have a no trade clause. He was a free agent. He had to be pursued. He had to be sold on why Phoenix was the best place for him, and he had multiple offers from playoff teams, and he picked the Phoenix Suns. That's it. That's the proof. Now, is Haywood Highsmith going to all of a sudden make the Suns a championship contender? No. But you have players that are available via the buyout market that last year the Suns couldn't get because the Suns were a mess. They couldn't get any of those players. One, because they didn't have the space. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the resources. But two, who was going to pick Phoenix? It was a mess. And in less than a year, it's turned to the point where now you've got players that want to play here. And by the way, I love the last sentence in this where it says, known as a gritty two-way player when healthy. Boy, is that not the ultimate Phoenix Suns edition in 2026.
That's what you love to see.
This signing is proof to me that the Suns have already accomplished it. Now, there's more to do. We said that, now we're number one. We're
certainly more to do.
We're changing the expectations, but boy, it only took 55 games for them to turn this around. Because you've got players that now want to come here. You've got players that see what's going on in Phoenix and they want to be a part of it.
You've become a destination.
You've become, at least in a small part right now, a destination. Now, I think as you win more games, as you have more success, as there is more staying power, you're going to attract even more talent. And the more you free yourself of the financial pains of the mistakes you've made in the past, you now become a destination. Can you imagine if the Suns didn't have the financial, and I use the word issues, but the financial limitations that they have right now? Could you imagine if the Phoenix Suns were 32-23 and they had their treasure trove of draft picks? Do they all of a sudden become a destination in the Giannis sweepstakes? Do they all of a sudden become a destination in every single one of these big marquee superstars that becomes available? That's what this is about. Now, they got to pay the bill. That's why it's not completely done yet. The bill is coming due, and it's going to be paid over the next couple of years because they don't control their own draft picks. They're trying to get under the luxury tax to reset themselves, and they got to do some things to get this back on track. But already you're seeing the signs. This is proof of it, that the Suns have turned this around, that the Suns are not the laughingstock that they were the last couple of years, right? Matt Ishbia, 27 of 29 teams would trade spots with us, right? Laughed at for that comment. Made fun of. Who's laughing now? Because the Suns have already, I think, they haven't fully turned it around. But boy, they've started the U-turn. They're closer to turning it around than they are going in the wrong direction. And to me, this is the chief example. And this is the type of player that I can't wait to see play for this team. Forward depth, gritty two-way player, going to provide it at both ends, a depth option. The perfect kind of signing for a team that doesn't want to make huge waves, doesn't want to upset the apple cart, obviously wants to stay under the luxury tax. It's a multi-year deal, so this is a player that's going to be here next year. These are the types of moves that you love to see the Suns make.
This is the type of move that shows they've learned from what they made, like mistakes they made. Shows that we can make moves on the margin to make this team better. We don't have to be the big fish hunters anymore. And when you pick and choose your moments, you can be. But you can make moves on the margin to make your team better and not sacrifice everything you had to do to get Kevin Durant, to get Bradley Beal. Make the small moves that make you better.
I think it's just proof that they've achieved the massive goal that this season was supposed to be about, and they did it sooner than any of us could anticipate. And now that allows them to check that box and move on to the next goal with the confidence, the trust that they're on the right path.
And it's different because of what the one team I'm about to compare them to did, but it feels second year Kenny Dillingham, Arizona State.
Where you
knew they were building something, but this is going faster than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to compare the results, right? Of year 2 Kenny with the Phoenix Suns, but I think overall, I hear you that Kenny and company, they got the results earlier on than they anticipated. That was proof that, okay, we did this the right way. We got this right. And I think to your larger point, that's what you're starting to see here with Phoenix. Now, I would argue that the results that the Suns are getting are way better than what we anticipated. So they deserve credit. I just don't think it's going to end the way it ended for ASU with the Big 12 championship. Like, I don't think you're going to get that type of run in the postseason.
Certainly not.
But you're going to get way better result than I thought you were going to get at the season's start.
But I think had ASU just gotten to the Big 12 championship, we would have said, like, wow, what a season for Kenny Dillingham. And it could be that for the Suns. The one thing ASU did, and some injuries held to not winning as many games this year, but you still built on some momentum, right, to stay relevant in the next year. So for the Suns, it's the same thing. Right? This needs to be a multiple-year process. Just because you're ahead of the schedule, you can't fall backwards now.
No, and I think this summer, and that's why they really focused in the trade deadline, get under the luxury tax. So we're not a penalty team. So now if we do want to add and we want to stay under that second apron and stay under the first apron, but want to go over the luxury tax, we can do so and we won't be a repeater team. You kind of reset the bill there a little bit. You're now a year in to the 5-year process of getting rid of Bradley Beal's contract, right? You move things along, and yes, it's slow, but now with the success that you've had, the levers that you've pulled, it gets easier and easier as the years go on, and it looks like you have a coach. It looks like you have a young core. You set yourself up. You put the pieces in the right spot on the chessboard, right? That's what they've done, and they did it a lot quicker than we anticipated.
Exactly. That's my point, and that's my example in the comparison. It's not the same results, but it's that kind of ahead of schedule that you can take advantage of here if you're the Suns.
The Suns back in action on Thursday, their second road game and the only road game they have the rest of this month, as they're in San Antonio, technically Austin, to take on the San Antonio Spurs. We'll get you ready for that as the week moves along. 480-864-1060. That is the phone number for you to get involved with us here today on the program. You can also hang out with us on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. When we come back, we close up today's edition of the program. It's all the stories we didn't get to. It's the much anticipated, highly teased discussion about some Olympic curling. It is the leftovers. We'll get to them next. The lunch break at KDUS AM 1060.
ASU women's basketball continues over on KAZG 1440. This Wednesday, the Lady Sun Devils hit the road to take on Iowa State. And Coach Molly Miller knows how important every win is this late in the season and looks to lead her team to another W. Join Jeff Munn on the call live from Iowa. It's ASU versus Iowa State this Wednesday. Pregame at 5 p.m. and tip-off at 5:30 p.m. over on KAZG 1440.
I get by with a little help from my friends.
Ringo Starr and his all-star band. With friends, Steve Lukather from Toto. From Men at Work, Colin Hay. From Average White Band, Hamish Stewart. Friday, June 12th, 7:30 p.m., Gamage Auditorium. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Danny Zalesko Presents.
Low T, start for free for a limited time. Get prescription testosterone therapy with no startup fee, only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. Prescription testosterone gives you more energy, stamina, and it'll help you lose weight and lose that dad bod for good. You'll also think better, sleep better, and your love life will be better. Look, don't be fooled. Nothing boosts testosterone like actual testosterone. So skip the gimmicks and get prescription strength testosterone now at Red Mountain Weight Loss. It's a game changer. So don't wait. If you've got low T, get started for free. Meet with a board-certified medical provider online with no waiting from the convenience of your home or office. Book today and feel like yourself again. Only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Go to redmountainweightloss.com or dial pound 250 on your phone. Keyword Red Mountain. Red Mountain Weight Loss. Real testosterone. Real doctors. Real results.
Come see us at Mark Mazda Scottsdale off the 101 in Indian School. Right now, you can receive a 1.9% APR for 60 full months on some of Mazda's most popular models, like the 2026 Mazda CX-50 and CX-50 Hybrid.
Don't know what to do with your trade? We'll give you a minimum of $8,000 for any trade, no matter what shape it's in, as long as it runs based on the actual MSRP. And if $8,000 is a minimum, think what your good trading might be worth.
The name to remember? Mark Mazda. Mark Mazda. On a pre-credit plus $9.98.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Congratulations to the Seahawks, who dominated the Patriots 29-13. Although it's an interesting way to say dominating the Patriots, because it certainly felt that way. But it was one of those games where I kept thinking, is New England going to steal this? This great defensive performance by Seattle will be wasted by a couple of plays, but give credit to Seattle. They came up with big plays when they needed to.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
It is all the stories we didn't get to today on the program. We call them the leftovers. Usually I don't know what we're going to discuss. But we're going to talk about Olympic curling to open up the leftovers, because there is a controversy brewing that is taking the sports world by storm.
Listen.
I mean, the Canadians they're just violating the rules. I know that they are trying to make it seem like they're not, but it's very clear, the footage, that they are double touching the stone.
Here is the headline from the Associated Press. Double trouble as Canadian curlers accused of illegal touches at the Winter Olympics.
Love that. That's a very good headline there.
That's an awesome, awesome headline. So essentially what they're saying is they're touching the stone after they release it.
Well, they're doing this thing because, I guess we're going to try to explain this for a radio audience. You hold the stone, you hold the handle on the top of the stone, and then you let it go, right? And as you let it go, you kind of give it a little twist so that it starts to curl. But what's happening is, at least when the first one happened, I believe it was the Canadian men, where this first all kind of started, this brouhaha started, it kind of, he spun it, and it looks like his finger kind of, as he's letting go and his hand's coming down, made contact, but you couldn't really tell. And then when you saw the Canadian women, it was clear as day. And what is fascinating to me, from almost like a psychological standpoint, more so than the actual rule of the sport, I don't think they think they're doing anything wrong.
No.
With how adamant that they aren't double touching the stone, I wonder just how long they've been doing it that way, to the point where they don't think it's improper. That's the part of the story that's so fascinating to me, is that I don't think they think they're cheating and getting away with it, and they're just, playing dumb as a defense. I legitimately believe them that they don't think they're doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Even though they clearly are.
I'm trying to find the picture for you, because there's, first of all, the memes online.
Oh, they're good. Did you see the meme of the Canadian, because somebody used AI for this, the member of the Canadian men's curling team, while the hockey puck is in the crease, pushing the puck into the net for Canada?
Yes.
I thought that one was very good.
That one's very funny.
I saw another one where they AI'd the Canadian stone thrower on the men's team all the way down into the circle, and then he just moves all of the other stones out of the way and puts
that one is so funny too. I am trying to find this tweet because RG3 had a good one the other day, and I'm trying. Oh, here it is. So first of all, here's the picture of him doing it. So like, this is for the YouTube audience.
I don't think this is going to work the way you can't see the glare's too. No,
it's too bad. Yeah, but he's reaching out and essentially poking it.
It certainly appears that way. Yes.
This is good. I don't know if you can see it because of the glare.
No, you can't see that high.
But I believe this is the Sistine Chapel.
I can't see that one.
And he's, a painting figure is pointing, and they have now cropped in the stone, so he's touching it as it goes.
And then this happened on Friday, to the point where there were some words exchanged.
Yeah, it almost got physical.
It was very contentious, and then it happened the next day,
For the women's team.
For the women's team. And in the case of the Sweden-Canada match, Sweden kind of said something, but it was never called on the men's
Correct.
team.
Yeah.
For the
women,
I think because of the heightened kind of drama around this, it got called. An official called it. And I guess I learned this. There's no video review for curling. So when it gets called, it gets called. We don't go to, VAR or instant replay to go over these things.
And that kind of makes sense because,
And then the statement that was released by World Curling, quote, 2 umpires who have previously been actively monitoring athlete deliveries remain available in the field of play, but will now only monitor athlete deliveries at the request of competing teams. So you have to go to the official and say, I want you to watch this. We're going to have another one of these. We're going to have another.
Yeah, you would have to imagine because if and I'm going to pull it up, but I don't think they're, like you said, they don't think they're doing anything wrong.
And there are 2 rules that I think are important. I'm reading this USA Today story. Players can retouch the handles before what's called the hog line, which is that big green line that you see. You're allowed to retouch the handle, but touching the handle afterwards isn't allowed. A player is not allowed to touch the granite of the stone during forward motion. So it doesn't matter where it is on the line. If you touch the granite, the stone itself,
okay,
that's a no-go, which is what they are accused of doing. They cannot do that.
Correct. You cannot touch the granite. And the women's Canada team is actually in competition right now.
I was just going to say, the most important thing is when are they in action next?
Yeah, so they are 7-3 over Japan currently. That's for the women. They are in the 7th end. The men, on the other hand, will be back in action, I believe, tomorrow. And I will check that. It's hard because it's hard to see.
Well, we discussed this. The Olympics official website with the schedule
it's really bad.
Is not the best. Is the way that I'll say.
No, sorry. The women back in action again tomorrow. The men don't play.
They play tomorrow. They play tomorrow.
What? Where are you seeing that?
You're talking the Canadian men.
Yeah.
Yeah, the men are back in action tomorrow because the U.S. play at 1:05 in the morning. The men Canadian curling team.
They're not on the schedule.
They play tomorrow at 11:05. They play Great Britain.
Okay. Good to know. Oh, yeah, I got him.
Yeah, you just got to scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it's
Great Britain versus Canada. Round robin session 10. I don't have the standings, but
good luck trying to get those. That's going to take a second.
But the medal count, I'll give you that.
Oh, I love that.
Would you like by total medal or gold?
Give me total because total is what I have.
Yes. In third place, I'll go from 3 to 1. Tied for third. There's 2 teams tied for third. Japan, 17 total medals. They also have the 3 gold. The United States with 17 total medals as well. They have 5 gold. The Italians ranking in at second. I got to tell you.
The host country showing out in a big way.
The host country showing out in a big way. 22 medals, 8 gold. And Norway is running away with this Olympics. One of the most impressive feats I have ever seen.
Well, they were the favorites.
They have 27 medals. It's not even close. 12 gold. 4 more gold medals than the next highest.
By the way, the men's curling standings, Switzerland in first, 5-0. Canada in second. They've played 6 matches. They're 5-1. Norway and the U.S. are tied for third, so those would be the 4 teams. They're both 4-2.
Okay, so every round robin match is going to be important here for the States.
Yes, because you got Great Britain, who's 4-3, right behind them. You got Germany, who's 3-3, Italy, who's 3-3. So you got some teams right on your heels. And the U.S., I don't know who they play next.
By the way, was watching the men's. What's up, Corey Dropkin not out there?
I don't. He's not on both teams, right?
Yeah, because Corey TC, she's on the women's team.
Oh, so wow. I didn't know that.
No Dropkin. I don't even want to watch. This guy was awesome.
The U.S., by the way, the women are second behind Sweden. They're 4-1, but they're currently losing to Italy 4-1 right now. And by the way, Italy is 0-5. They haven't had a win at all. So upset alert. This is where Scott Hansen would break in with an upset alert.
By the way, how about him? He's doing a show.
He's doing Gold Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they I think they debuted this either the last Olympics or the one before that. It's a very great idea.
Yeah.
There you have it. Your Olympic update here for the leftovers. That's going to do it for us. The Monday edition of the program in the books. Jim Rome coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you.